Hey, Richard Cole back again. I want to talk to you today about this feud that's going on between Kamala Harris and Tulsi Gabbard. If you don't know who Tulsi Gabbard is, she's from Hawaii. She was a congresswoman from Hawaii. Prior to that, after 9/11, she joined the army to fight for the country. She went to Iraq, was stationed in Iraq, came back, and then that's when she ran for Congress. She then decided to run for president, the same time that Biden was running and Kamala Harris was running. That was the 2020 primaries. This sort of started the feud where Gabbard took on Kamala Harris. It might have destroyed her chances for presidency at that time. But listen to this from the 2020 primaries.
I want to bring in Congresswoman Gabbard. Congresswoman Gabbard, you took issue with Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate. You called it a, quote, false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. That would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
So following that, they gave Kamala a chance to respond, which she did. And all she said was, I ran the largest Justice Department in the country. And she never denied what Gabbard said, which was some pretty horrible stuff. So now, let's get to today. They're starting to replay that a lot about Harris now that she's the Democrat nominee for president. And what are they doing about it? You won't be able to believe this, but here is Gabbard talking to Laura Ingraham just the other night.
Former Democratic Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, who's now a cable news commentator for Fox, was persistently harassed by extra security guards while flying throughout the country. The reason? She was recently targeted by Quiet Skies, an Orwellian TSA program that costs hundreds of millions of dollars and routinely violates the civil liberties of innocent Americans. Here's Gabbard describing what happened to her.
Laura, this is a clear act of political retaliation. There's no other way to put it. You laid out the sequence of events the very next day after my conversation with you on the air, warning the American people about how dangerous a Kamala Harris presidency would be. I was placed on this domestic terror watch list, which is called the Quiet Skies list under the Department of Homeland Security. The clear pain and real visceral hurt that comes from this is, as you mentioned, like many Americans, I enlisted because of the terrorist attacks on 9/11 to go after the Islamist terrorists who attacked us on that day, and to now have my own government now turn around and put me on a domestic terror watch list. It hits to the core and is the ultimate sense of betrayal. But we look at why they are doing this. It has a chilling effect.
Yeah, she was put on a version of the no-fly list, and they're harassing her and her family. That's what they do now. They're just like Biden did, going after Trump with all these trials and everything. They're using the Justice Department or any department they can to go after their enemies, their political enemies. It's horrible, but that's what we're dealing with. And that's what people are talking about voting for again. If you vote for Harris, you're going to continue this. No one can oppose them. So is Harris, who has shown she can be nasty and take on her enemies, but is she smart? Well, listen to this. This is her description of what Ukraine-Russia war is about. I think sounds like she's talking to first graders, but no, she's talking to the adult audience out there.
So Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically that's wrong.
Did you learn a lot? Wow, that was really enlightening, wasn't it? This is the woman that you're going to vote for. Some of you, not me. How about inflation? How's she handling inflation? That's a good thing to discuss today. Well, here's her answer to that.
Okay, thank you. Hold on to it. Ma'am, the U.S. is experiencing record inflation, the worst in 30 years, way beyond expectations. OPEC didn't increase oil production. Can you tell us a little bit about how you would prevent the new spending in your Build Back Better agenda from exacerbating the problem? And also, what else are you going to do to fix this problem with inflation?
All right, thank you. Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up, and families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up. That's about having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a heavy weight to carry. So it is something that we take very seriously.
I'll bet you understand it now, huh? And you know what she's going to do about inflation. This is really scary, folks, really scary. This is what we vote for. In my next episode, I'm going to get into the price controls that she's talking about. But that's all for right now. Thanks for listening.